We continue learning Kitzur Yomi, the halachas of Mezuzah. We are in Simin Yud Aleph in the Kitzur. We mentioned yesterday the incredible advent of Kitzur, that we don't only learn our Chayim, we even get to go into in Yoni Yeredeya. We continue learning about the halachas of Mezuzah Sif Yud Beis. Yeah, and now the truth is, let's just be makdim as we ended yesterday's shir that we have some complicated doorways. Let's try to understand them to the best of our ability, to the very least, which ultimately being a good shayel is really what it's all about. One can at least know, oh, this room is a little bit tricky. Let me ask a shayla and not just put a mezuzah up in a place which is whatever. Says the Kitzur Yishla Shtei Mezuzahs. If an entranceway has two door posts, ve'in loy mashkoif but no lintel, but rather, what does it have instead? Al sheish aleim kippah kaminches, as a kippah, as a dome. There's no even mezuzah. The dome goes all the way down from the ground. So how do we view this? So if there's a space, if you could square out a space of 10 by 4, then chayiv, and if not, then not. So first of all, here's just a beautiful picture, as Art School, as always, does a fabulous job in showing us how you're going to calculate this doorway, that if you could figure out a 10 by 4 square inside, then there will be a chiyuv mezuzah. Chaniyas that have one doorpost, from the floor to the lintel, mezuzah achas, and one doorpost, rather the wall is indented, as we'll see in a second. So if the doorpost whose height reaches all the way to the lintel, it's on the right. And again, that's what we have to always orient ourselves. Anytime we have a funny doorway, we always have to know, let's figure out which is right and left, which is an avodah. But let's say it's easier going in. So on the right side, is there a doorpost on the right side? If on the right side there is, then everything changes. Then then I say but if the small side is on the right, then it depends. As we already saw, the minimum height weight is 10. So then noisim says above. Have you put it in the indented areas? Here you have your doorway. So if this is the way that you're going into this room, it's simple, it goes on the right side. But let's say it was hafoch, it was the other way. Then, if it was 10 tefachim tall, you would put it on the regular doorpost part, but if not, you put it on the indented part. Yeshayim says the Kitzur, even if the entranceway does not have doors, chayim mezuzah. Now listen to these words, very important, this Sif Yud Gimel. Sif Yud Gimel begins, Yeshayim. Some say if there's no door, half of our door entranceways have no door. Okay, so some say without a door, chayim mezuzah. That you need a door, as no 33 points out. That Shar, the Kesef Mishnah, Shar beisecha v'visharecha, that you need a door. Lachein, an incredible halacha, lo yikbaz mezuzah ad sheyita mikardin sadelas, till the door is there first, and v'lo yikbaz etchila v'achadit lasdelas, don't put it on them, put it on the door. Mishnah taslom and asui. Now, there's another very important halacha the kids did not mention, we're going to mention, based on this suffix, based on this debate. At the end of note 33, it points out the shach, very important, that if you have a doorway without a door, you put up a mezuzah, but you do not make a bracha. Incredibly, critically important. First of all, you're putting up multiple mezuzahs, you got to know which one to make the bracha on, number one. Number two, if you're only putting up a mezuzah on a doorway without a door, there is no bracha based off of this debate. Sif Yodalit, it says the Kitzur, you don't live there permanently. Potter. Potter. It's Potter from Mezuzah. Now, what it means you don't live there constantly is not going to be so simple. A sukkah is very easy to figure out. You're only there for 7 days. However, if you have, let's say, a bungalow that you go for 2 months, that means no chiyuv mezuzah because you don't live there permanently. Not so simple. Now, it could be that the word here is, it's asui l'dira b'kviyas. If you have a bungalow, it's a house, you just happen to live there for 2 months, that's not going to remove it from the stigma of asli ladir b'kfiyas, and of course there would be a chiv and mezuzah. Continues the Kitzur, you have a store, you just make it for a few days, for the days of the fair. Then you disassemble the store. Certainly can be relevant. You make these different expos and conventions, and you build a little store, a little storefront, a little house, a little room. Do you need a mezuzah? No. Do not put up a mezuzah. Are chayavim b'mezuzah. Achsadja pavilion sheisha b'chita. It's a 3-walled pavilion, outdoor structure. V'tikra al gabein with a roof of bruises b'revis, and the foreside is wide open. Even though even has 2 side posts on the fourth side, k'motzur sapesach. Petura mimizuzim neishab simin lo nasim misham mezuzah is not in his doorpost like the lahamid atikra. This is a very important rule, that if you have a doorpost, but not as a doorpost, it's there just to hold up the roof, there's no chiyuv mezuzah. If the fourth side has a wall, might be lower. Then it would be chayiv, because then it is me. Now this is going to be a common case. Sometimes you'll have 2 rooms, and you'll have like a doorway in between, but not a doorway, like a massive entranceway between the 2 rooms. The question is it 2 rooms? Is it 1 room? Does it need a mezuzah? So often, if the only reason why there is this entranceway is to hold up the roof, then we have this halacha that there's no chiyuv mezuzah. Small house next to a courtyard, and a balcony, balcony that you go up to a higher floor, a vagina or a garden, vadir, and a pet for animals, why? And the deer, they're not made to live in. Let's say this house that requires a mezuzah. And that house is open to this little guard room. That house is open into the garden or lachsaj to pavilion. Chayavim, there is a chiyuv mezuzah. Even to the area that goes to them because it becomes auxiliary to the chiyuv of the bayis of the house. Therefore, the gates of courtyards, v'shar mevo'ai, streets, v'shar medinos v'ayarais, kulan chayavim mezuzah, because the houses open up into it. Afilu asar batim, even if you have 10 houses or rooms, even the 9 outer rooms should really be potter. You have 1 chayav. Everything piggybacks off that. A gatehouse balcony is chayav. And therefore, it's already seeing anytime that we're not sure, we have a suffix, we have a debate, you put up a mezuzah without a bracha. Beis HaMerach, it's a bathhouse, uborski, a tanner, beis HaTefillah, a house of Tefillah, Mikvah, Pturim, Neisheinan, Lediras Kavoid. It's not called a diras kavoid, a room that you get undressed in, a bathroom, of course. But here we're talking about even a bathhouse, even a mikvah room, because you're not dressed there. However, refus bucker, a barn, chicken coop, based heaven of eitzim, storehouse for straw and wood, of eitzah shel yayin shel shar mashkin, a storeroom, and yisham shir bayis chayavim. Then they are chayav yesh paitim. So again, all these areas, a storage area, would be putting up a mezuzah without a bracha, which again is going to be very common. You have a garage, you have a shed, you have areas that are auxiliary to your bayis, but are made for storage. It's a debate whether you have to put up mezuzah, and we're going to put it up without a bracha. But there are kids around. They bathe there. They use the bathroom there. You have to cover the mezuzah. This is very important in any house. But only if it's occasionally. We rely on the covering. But to have a bizayin in such a room, sewage water ain't listening kisoy. Do not rely on the kisoy, and therefore you will not have a mezuzah. But again, that's if that's the function of the room. So maybe if someone had a room they just changed diapers in, but that's, I don't know if that's really so common. Well, more common would be is that there be a room that maybe that there is going to be a child revealed, or there is going to be a potty, or there is going to be some sort of tashmish mezuzah in there. So then you'd have to cover the mezuzah, and the way to do that is you take it out of the case, you wrap the mezuzah in an extra wrapping, and then you put it back in the case, or you have a case that's not frosted, that's not clear, etc. Sifyu tes bayis house chazar koryot shegam akum dar sham potter. Potter mezuzah 52 quotes the shach. It could cause the goyim to mavaz the mezuzah. Now, whether this is relevant in our world, one has to know what the reality is. One lives in a co-op, one lives in a building with goyim and yidden. You have to know, the legalities and the rules and how it works. But often they do create situations you could have a mezuzah. But if it's in a matzah that could lead to mezayin, you do not. And finally, sefchav martefa seller. The doorpost engines lies in a horizontal position. Potter, you open the ground and you go downwards. So now the mezuzah is going to be horizontally. It's potter. Mezuzah is only when it's going to be standing up. We'll pick it up from Sifchaf Aleph B'siyata Dishmaya.